more. You chant from your heart. How's that apple working for you? Good and done. Good and good. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Bihari Radha Madhava Bihari Kabe jana hala Kirivara Kabe jana hala Yashodanandana Rajachana Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ashta Saki Pancha Tattva Prahlad Nrsimha Bhagavan Ki Jai. Mayapurnam Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nityam Naram Shaiva Narottama Devim Saraswati Vyasam Ashta Praeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavatir Naishtiki. Before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very complex, one should offer his respectful basis respect to Narayan, Narayana and Rishi, the supremest human being, the goddess of learning, Saraswati, and unto the author, and unto Srila Prabhupada, translated and commented. So Prabhupada, today we are reading from 11th canto, continuing from yesterday. Following chapter 11 of canto 11. And I'm going to 1 to 14. Okay, so we're going to need some volunteers to read 1 to 14.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Uddhava, due to the influence of the material modes of nature, which are under my control, the living entity is sometimes designated as conditioned and sometimes as liberated. In fact, however, the soul is never really bound up or liberated, and since I am the Supreme Lord of Maya, which is the cause of the modes of nature, I also am never to be considered liberated or in bondage."
Just as a dream is merely a creation of one's intelligence, but has no actual substance, similarly, material lamentation, illusion, happiness, distress, and the acceptance of the material body under the influence of Maya are all creations of my illusory energy. In other words, material existence has no essential reality.
Uddhava, with knowledge and ignorance, being products of Maya are expansions of my potency. With knowledge and ignorance are beginningless and perpetually avoid liberation and bondage to embodied living being.
O most intelligent Uddhava, the living entity called Jiva is part and parcel of me, but due to ignorance he has been suffering in material bondage since time immemorial. By knowledge, however, he can be liberated.
Thus, my dear Uddhava, in the same material body we find opposing characteristics, such as great happiness and misery. That is because both the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is eternally liberated, as well as the conditioned soul, are within the body. I shall now speak to you about their different characteristics.
By chance, two birds have made a nest together in the same tree. The two birds are friends and are similar in nature. One of them, however, is eating the fruits of the tree, whereas the other, who does not eat the fruits, is in a superior position due to his potency.
The bird who does not eat the fruits of the tree is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who, by his omniscience, perfectly understands his own position and that of conditioned living entity, represented by the eating bird. That living entity, on the other hand, does not understand himself or the Lord. He is covered by ignorance and is thus called eternally conditioned, whereas the personality of Godhead, being full of perfect knowledge, is eternally liberated.
One who is enlightened in self-realization, although living within the material body, sees himself as transcendental to the body, just as one who has arisen from a dream gives up identification with the dream body. A foolish person, however, although not identical with his material body, but transcendental to it, thinks himself to be situated in the body, just as one who is dreaming sees himself as situated in an imaginary body.
An enlightened person who is free from the contamination of material desire does not consider himself to be the performer of bodily activities. Rather, he knows that in all such activities, it is only the senses, born of the modes of nature, that are contacting sense objects, born of the same modes of nature.
An unintelligent person situated within the body created by his previous fruitive activities thinks, I am the performer of action. Bewildered by false ego, such a foolish person is therefore bound up by fruitive activities, which are in fact carried out by the modes of nature.
An enlightened person fixed in detachment engages his body in lying down, sitting, walking, bathing, seeing, touching, smelling, eating, hearing, and so on, but is never entangled by such activity. Indeed, remaining as a witness to all bodily functions, he merely engages his bodily senses with their objects, and does not become entangled like an unintelligent person.
Although the sky or space is the resting place of everything, the sky does not mix with anything, nor is it entangled. Similarly, the sun is not at all attached to the water in which it is reflected within innumerable reservoirs, and the mighty wind blowing everywhere is not affected by the innumerable aromas and atmospheres through which it passes. In the same way, a self-realized soul is completely detached from the material body, the material world around it. He is like a person who has awakened and arisen from a dream. With expert vision sharpened by detachment, the self-realized soul cuts all doubts to pieces through knowledge of the self and completely withdraws his consciousness from the expansion of material variety.
And the final words for today.
A person is considered to be completely liberated from the gross and subtle material bodies when all the functions of his vital energy, senses, mind, and intelligence are performed without material desire. Such a person, although situated within the body, is not entangled.
There's 14 of us here. Because it was like, oh no. Amang Gyana Timirandasya Gyana Jana Shalaka Namaha. I was born in darkness of ignorance. My spiritual masters, kind hearted, open my darkened minds with torchlight of knowledge. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances. Such spiritual masters. What a nice section. What was your favorite part, guys? the fact that we're all dreaming or daydreaming. Wakey, wakey. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. 1, 2, 3.
Good afternoon, Maroon.
No, good afternoon, Red Lagoon.
Red Lagoon.
That's the barbecue tofu. As we open the lids of delicious prasad. So this is the very simple formula for devotees, described by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Jiv Jago, Gora Chandra Bola. Would you mind putting that up? We have unlimited resources at our fingertips due to the Nitai's kind mercy. So Jiv Jago, we'll just do a translation. Lord Gauranga is calling. Wake up. Wake up, sleeping souls. Wake up, sleeping souls. How long will you sleep in the land of the witch called Maya? You have forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the world of birth and death. I have descended just to save you. Other than myself, you have no friend in this world. I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion from which you are suffering. Take this Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I fall at the Lord's feet, having taken this Maha Mantra. It's a beautiful bhajan by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We've studied in many ways. We've heard it. It's always good to reflect that we're dreaming and that there's a great need. Night dreaming, daydreaming, people are dreaming. They're sleepwalking. Is that the word? Sleepwalking? Yeah. Chasing their dreams. It's so deep, right? They're sleepwalking, chasing their dreams. If you think about it, like phantasmagoria, right? Phantasmagoria, mirage of some promises. Have you seen an animal in a desert? Animals are allured. Oh, there's water. And the more they go, the thirstier they come, the more exhausted they come until they drop. So, conditioned soul in this world, in similar ways, bereft of knowledge, bereft of wisdom, bereft of Krishna's mercy. It's like that. So if you have that FOMO thing in your heads, think twice. You're not missing out anything. The fear of missing out. Like I'm here in ashram, but actually real life is happening somewhere else. And I'm missing out. So my body is here. I brought myself here. I'm with a wonderful Sangha association of this, bright-faced individuals who are committing to the same thing. I have most wonderful food in all the 3 worlds cooked by Nanda and other cooks. And Shyam, Radhe Radhe, Shyam. But I'm thinking, and wonderful facility. But I'm thinking, so my body is here, but in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, it's, if I wish I can be somewhere else. Like, I wish I can go to Madagascar and do some surfing there. Our friend, what's his name? Nate is there, but he's on a mission. Krishna House, Madagascar is in the oven, it's cooking. And just not coming. It's on the stove, it's being prepared. Is a trailblazer representing. But it's, you know, it's a very dangerous and very peculiar place, this material world. So we have to make sure that while we are chanting, we're not thinking of service, and while we are serving, we're not thinking, oh, I wish I can chant. These are the tricks of the mind. And if we're not careful, we can continue. We're not careful of not taking the medicine. That will what? Wipe out. It will wipe out this illusion from which you are suffering. And people are suffering. Why people are suffering? Okay, let's ask a question. Let's pause and ask a question. Why people are suffering?
Because we're trying to enjoy.
Okay, is that wrong? To want, to try to enjoy? Is it wrong? No, okay, that's one answer, yes.
I think we have the wrong expectations. We're investing our expectations and our energy in the wrong place.
Okay,
It's about disappointment, really.
Yeah, this kind of answers, you're answering my second question, right? Yeah, we're natural, we are by nature, we are anandamaya vyasat, we are pleasure seekers by nature. But when we place those hopes in a wrong place, that's when suffering occurs. So what suffering is misplaced hope, right? So there's nothing wrong with being attached or wanting to enjoy, but what are we attaching ourselves to? So Krishna is like a sun, Maya is like darkness. Are you comfortable in darkness? I'm not. Why? Because you can't see, you don't know what's coming. It's just very uncomfortable. The two places where you can actually experience absolute darkness is on the bottom of the ocean and in a deep, deep cave. If you go to the deep cave, which we went, I took Kalindi for her birthday a while back, not a few days ago, but some years back. And it was this cavern caves, or it's between San Antonio and Boston. And it's a caves where they, you know, that opening scene from Batman with all those like bats just fly out. that was the cave. And inside, oh my God, it's like there's one part. So you, like it's very narrow. So you enter, like there's like this, you know, like curves and cavities that you go in. Some cavities are so narrow, they call it the bird canal. Like it's like you gotta literally like go like a snail. Like you gotta like wiggle in. And then there's openings, like it's like this huge opening of almost like a cathedral, chapel, like beautiful stalactites and stalagmites just coming down. Yes. Huh? What is lower too? Yeah, there was those also. Mm-hmm. And when one part actually, when we reached the deepest part of that cavern, the tour guide said, now turn off your, we had full gear. There was a little flashlight on top. So turn off your flashlights. So when we all did that, guys, you won't believe it. It was like pitch of absolute darkness. It was so surreal. Like my eyes were open. It's not like you're closing your eye. My eyes were open, but I could not see nothing. Like I was doing this. I was feeling things around me, and it was almost like out of body. It put everybody in that out of body experience. But first, the very first, because we all talked afterwards, we all turned on the flashlights, and we all talked. We shared. Everybody was sharing it, and everybody had this kind of same first initial feeling was feeling of discomfort and fear. then as we remember, oh, we're not alone, there was a sense of comfort. Okay, other people are here. So, it's frightening to be in dark, to be alone. Loneliness and darkness, sometimes they're equivalent, they're synonymous. It's frightening. And devotee relationships are the deepest relationships one can ever hope for or expect. And here we are, such a nice facility. But if we don't take advantage of developing that affection for each other, serving each other, we'll be like sleepwalking, like daydreaming, and not really taking the medicine, which, you know, Maha Mantra and devotee associations, they go hand in hand. Actually, out of those two, chanting Hare Krishna and devotee association, which one do you think is more important? Devotee association. Anybody differs from this answer? Why? Why would devotee association be more important than taking this medicine of Hare Krishna? Shyam?
Because with devotee association, you also get Hare Krishna.
Because what?
With devotee association, you also get Hare Krishna.
You also get the Maha Mantra, right? This is what devotee will give you. This is what devotee will engage in. And if you have Maha Mantra and you have no devotee association, what's wrong with that? Yeah. Because the answers I wanted to think deeper. What's wrong with having Maha Mantra and not being around devotees, just chanting on your own somewhere in Gainesville alone? At least in the beginning, until we get into a groove. What's wrong with that? Most people can't do that. Why? Why? I'm asking why. Because it's medicine. We're taking the medicine. Guys, think. It's still legal. Think.
Think while you can.
Till think like.
Think while you can.
Yes.
Because we're social creatures, we'll associate with someone, and then that association, if it's not devotees, then where will it take us?
Yes. Yes, it would. Go.
And the Maha Mantra should also be chanted with some taste, with some feeling, with some inspiration. And these things we also get from the devotees. And on top of that, Lord Chaitanya wants us to chant together. Sankirtan means chanting together. The process for this age is not sitting in a cave in the darkness.
Somewhere in Texas. Engulfed with darkness, yes, bro. Last, and best for the last.
I was thinking about, just from experience, I feel like when we're in association with other devotees, especially those who are senior to us, like it rubs off, their bhakti really rubs off on us and then actually uplifts us. And yeah, it's for that reason. It's like, yeah, you do want to be, and you do want to be around other devotees because it really actually uplifts you. And then sometimes when we're on our own, we just, we might get really proud about it, like, oh, it's not my own. Exactly, that causes a fall down.
Very good points, Bruce.
Yeah, what Gopi was saying, the very last verse, the very last verse in the entire Bhagavatam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Hari. The congregational chanting of whose holy names destroys all sinful reactions. And the offering of obeisances unto him relieves all material miseries.
Vivo. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Jagya Ki. This pass to behind.
Question. If you are chanting solo around Gainesville, objectively though, you're not alone, correct?
Yeah, correct. Oh, you mean Krishna is walking with you? That's true. These are all valid points. Thank you. I was thinking there's a Shyam Prabhu. I was thinking because I asked you originally, if we chant and we have no devotee association, there's, at least in my case, there's this tendency to forget about chanting. Because if devotees are those who are reminding us and engaging us in chanting, if I'm without devotee association, I have a tendency to kind of slacken, if not in quantity, which I shouldn't because I've given a vow, a lifetime vow, then at least I've noticed in quality, there's a certain kind of tendency to kind of drop and, become lackadaisical about it, to take it for granted. Because we have blind spots, right? Not everybody, when they chant in a Gainesville Park, feel that Krishna is walking with them. At least, I can feel at times something, but there's a tendency to, just become mechanical. Yes.
Trying to relate it to something that you mentioned in your experience with the cave, about how when the initial discomfort of being in the dark and not having that sensual input, but then you became comfortable because there were other people there with you. So with association with persons who are not seeing the nature of the material world, the tendency is also to become comfortable in this material existence. At least try to become comfortable. Just as when in the cave, when you knew there were other persons. So, and oftentimes when this is brought up, Krishna consciousness, you present these things and people start to consider, but they see, oh, but other people are doing, so this is it gives them a sense of comfort that others are doing what I'm doing.
That's right. And also, thank you so much. That's a wonderful point, Marina Prabhu. And also, relating to some other beautiful points, we have a point of reference as we are surrounded by, and we treat each other as brother or sister keeper. We have this facility to be corrected on our path as well. Because on our own, we all have a blind spot. I mean, I do. I have a blind spot and I can't always notice like what's going on. Maya, illusion, becomes imperceptible or imperceptibly. What does that mean? You can't even notice it's there. Guys, have you ever fallen asleep? Do you actually remember when you fall asleep exactly? It's imperceptible, guys. This is serious. Jiv Jago, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We got to wake up. We have to wake up. And in order to wake up, the Sangha is important because if we're alone, imperceptibly we'll get covered. There's two potencies that Maya has, and they are covering and throwing or pulling. Sometimes it's throwing, sometimes pull. It covers you and then pulls you down, just plunges you deep down and deep down under. Deep down under. And there's another absolute darkness, bottom of the ocean. So covers you and plunges you deep under. And then you're just further bewildered and further confused and just bhutva praliyate, just goes, it can go forever. I mean, yeah, we are Nitya Bhadas. We've been doing this since time immemorial. Now we have this wonderful opportunity. Srimad Bhagavatam is reminding us it is a dream. We are not alone. There's two birds. Did you guys notice? Guys, did you notice two birds here on the front? This comes up. In our heart, There's not one but two birds. That comes up where in the Vedas? In the Gita, yeah, in 222, I believe, but where originally in the Vedas comes? Yes, both in Shvetashvatara and in Mundaka Upanishad, in two Upanishads, this analogy is given as we read it. There's two birds. We're not alone, like Jonathan Prabhu was saying. We're not alone. So don't despair. It might be dark, it might be scary as you're walking through life in your young and not so experienced lives. There's many turmoils ahead of you. Do not despair. You're not alone. In your heart, there's your friend. Not just friend, he's our best friend. And he's in control of every atom. He's our best friend. He's our suhrid. Hrid means dear to heart, right? Suhrid. What does that mean? Suhrid. He's very, very. So who is very dear to Krishna's heart? We are. Everybody's part and parcel of Krishna, right? So everybody's in sense a devotee. We just have to treat people as part and parcel of Krishna. That's what we're discussing the other day. As we are serving on campus, these are not just students. They also are, or as we are distributing books. Zach is going to be trained. I heard he has a nice desire to go out and distribute books. Sankirtan Yaga ki jai. And competition, transcendental competition ki jai. So as you're distributing books, also, people you're encountering with, they're also part and parcel of Krishna. So the way your consciousness is and the way you perceive others is going to define your relationship with them. If you treat people as just dirty karmis, how do you think they're going to respond? If you treat even your pet with no affection, how do you think they're going to respond? Yes, Nitan. Oh, did you have a hand?
Yeah. This question?
No, no question. Just eager to hear you.
Christina, like not Christina, who is Olivia, but one was a little kid.
Ah.
She mentioned a comment on Zoom. She's listening. She said that she was alone for about 7-8 years and she didn't have any association or knowledge of philosophy. But she knew of the Mahamantra. She used to chant alone in the morning and evening. But she was told that Prabhupada said that we're like a bundle of sticks. When you're in association, you all become strong like a bundle of sticks and cannot be easily broken. But when you're alone, one lonely stick, you're easily broken. So that's like, even though we have the Mahamantra, it should be like, it strengthens us to be in association with devotees. Otherwise, we'll start listening to our mind instead of the Mahamantra.
These are the best days of our lives, guys. The best days of our lives. The longer we can remain, the better. An unfortunate fact of the life is that things can't be appreciated fully and properly until they get lost. Until we lose things, we can't fully appreciate them. But if we're intelligent, we can make an effort to appreciate what we have. And this is what also Krishna is reminding us. That grateful heart. There's actually a very nice quote from Journey Within that my Glinda's stepdad, as he was dying from cancer, he called me. He said, "Come, sit. I have to show you something." And this is a book that because I knew he was terminally ill, and I wanted to give him something. So I was thinking Prabhupada's books, because he's like a Texas, like typical cowboy. So Prabhupada books, yeah, maybe he will appreciate, but let me try. This Journey Within was so nice. It was actually written for just average Joe and cleaning lady as targeted audience was defined. So I gave him Journey Within, and that was Thanksgiving. So for the Christmas, he was calling me, and he said, "Come sit." He said, "Look," because I asked him, what did you like about? Did you read the book? Did you like it?" And he was so excited to share with me, and it was going. Every page was like so many highlights. It was highlighted in so many different ways. And I was thinking, oh my God, no, he has been reading, he's been studying this. This is so wonderful. And then he said, "You want to hear my favorite part?" I said, "Please." And then he opened. It was just one sentence. It said, "Gratitude is heaven." And because, he's a Christian, pious, cowboy guy. He was appreciating such a small and simple definition that even with bhakti is very, it's a very, very lofty, pure devotional service. And it's very high. It's a very high standard. But until then, we practice pure devotional service. So one of the main elements of practice of the pure devotional service that we are engaged with, lots of practice from morning to evening, we're practicing what? Pure devotional service, right? One of the very important elements is gratitude, because without gratitude, again, we're going to miss the boat. We're going to start taking things for granted. And again, our service attitude, what happens when we start taking things for granted? Our service attitude also drops. So one has to always catch themselves. I know I have to catch myself to up and up, up and up and up that level of gratitude. So I don't take things for granted, because when that happens, the service attitude also drops. And then we're going to also lose intelligence. Like that lady, the lady that was carrying the bundle of the wood. That's all she did her entire life. She was just carrying the bundle of the wood. And then she was getting old. She was, I'd say, hunched and struggling. And then the bundle slipped, and she was praying, not I. And then the Lord Vishnu came. She said, "How can I serve you?" Narayan said, and then she said, "Oh, please, I'm so glad you're here. Please help me put this bundle back." When we lose intelligence, we're doing the right thing, but in a completely wrong way. Krishna is here to grant us with pure devotion, pure devotional service. But we're thinking, oh, I need this in order to be complete. Oh, I need this. When I graduate, when I get the BI gig, when I get this job, ultimately when I retire, right? What's the problem with that picture? The most important thing cannot wait. Guys, again, wake up. This is the most important thing. It cannot wait. This is what Prabhupada also suggested to his spiritual master, Siddhanta Saraswati. He said, how can we spread this Krishna consciousness movement if India is depending on other nation? It was still oppressed under England. And what did Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said? This, yes, but Lord Chaitanya's movement cannot wait for anything. It is the highest priority. So when we prioritize nicely, then and we are maintaining that good levels of gratitude, then it's a smooth sail. It's a smooth sail. Krishna will personally protect you. If we always think how to spread this Krishna consciousness movement, Lord Chaitanya will surely protect you. Never mind your situation in life. Student, busy family man, or retired, or otherwise. So, 2 points. the dream and the need to wake up, and the point that we are not alone. Not only Krishna is there, but also wonderful facility of devotee association. Any questions or comments? Yes.
In the ashram, that this can also happen, this inconceivable, or when Maya covers you, you don't even know. Could you give some examples of how this can happen in the ashram?
Well, very simple. Somebody says something and hurts your feelings. You have two options. You can close off, or you can open up and say, oh, my feelings are hurt. Prabhu, oh. If I can share something, when you said or did that, I felt like this. You'll stay connected. But if you bottle up, and happens again and again and again, and it becomes compounded, then you're going to find yourself on an island, in the middle of the ocean of sadhusanga and opportunities, isolated. That's very dangerous, to isolate ourselves in an ocean of opportunities for Vaishnava Sangha. That's one of the ways, one of the ways that can happen. Usually it's like, and then we become prone to Maya's attack, because we're just left at our, at the mercy of our mind. And what is mind telling us? Yay, it's 4:30. No, it's like, oh, I don't know what. 4:30. But the devotees are there, and it's going to be fun. So, unless mind becomes your friend, do you trust your enemy? Anybody trust the enemy? He can be our best friend, but he can have our worst enemy. So we have to be very cautious. So to be a brother or sister keeper means that you're going to watch my back, and hopefully I watch your back. That's how it works. Yes.
Prabhu, you were mentioning that we have to be very careful of being here in the ashram while at the same time wishing that we were somewhere else. So you're basically saying we have to work hard to be fully present and appreciate what's right in front of us. And I think you also hinted at the fact that that can happen when we try and be grateful, when we have the right service attitude. Can you give even more vivid and practical examples of what it would look like if we're avoiding the FOMO and properly absorbed in what's in front of us?
It'll manifest as a very nice service attitude. Because what we have here is very special. Opportunity for devotional service is a privilege. It's not a chore. Shouldn't be, or something I gotta do. See, with bhakti, even the most difficult things, they become easy. But when there's no bhakti, even the easiest things, like scoop and tap. Is there something easier than that? You scoop and you tap your spoon so it doesn't stick inside. It becomes, without bhakti, it just becomes so difficult. Why do I have to scoop and tap? Why can't I just scoop and scoop? Because 2 of a half is 1 whole. Right? All we want is bhakti. All we want is devotion. Right? So when you have that, you'll be empowered. And you will be less morose, less confused, and less in anxiety too. This one bird that it's busy eating fruits Sometimes they're bitter, sometimes they're sweet. It's always an anxiety. But the other bird, according to this verse from Mundaka Upanishad, is patiently waiting for that other bird who's busy with fruitive action, as we were studying previously. We're busy with this fruitive action. Oh, this will be good for me. No, just surrender. This is all mental concoction. What's good for you, we don't know. Only Krishna knows. So when we surrender to Krishna, which Krishna actually, by the way, Krishna suggests that if you didn't know, Krishna gently invites us by proposing. What is he proposing? Just give up all varieties of these ideas and surrender to me. But if you want to make him laugh, you tell him all about your ideas. and you can make him cry. If your ideas are so pure and so surrendered, then you might make Krishna cry, or this devotee has so many wonderful, pure desires to serve me. And Krishna won't laugh, he'll cry for love, or out of love. So if we don't have bhakti, we want to cry for bhakti. If we have bhakti, we'll cry out of bhakti. So we're crying for love or crying out of love. But that we have to do. We have to cry. We have to find ways to cry, especially when we're chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. It is not a mechanical thing. It shouldn't be lip-deep. Try to make it heart-deep and just watch everything being very different based on the levels of bhakti that we accumulate or not. So mornings are defining hours of our day, and that will make a difference in answer to your question. Most important hours of our day in the morning. Don't take it frivolously, don't play around. It will go a long way. And now you're young. I used to be. I'll never be younger than I'm now also. But now, the point is, in the beginning, you have strength to curb down this restless mind. It becomes harder later on. So see this as an investment. The best possible investment you can make. It's not a crypto. It's not even your education, although we encourage you to do graduate if you choose that path. We're not a society of dropouts. We're a society of responsible but devotional individuals. Do it in the spirit of bhakti. And for bhakti, bhakti is important. Where do you get it? And when do you get it? It's not at 10 p.m. I'll tell you. It's somewhere up to 10 a.m. That's when you dig and dig deep. Was that helpful? Okay, this is just basics. You already know these things, guys. I'm just reminding. That's simple as that. We have reached the limit. We thank you kindly for your attention. Please forgive if I've spoken anything inappropriately. And if there's something that you have benefited from, wonderful. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.